The silent roomed house was quiet, too quiet. Keanu Reeves stepped through the tall wooden doors of his Los Angeles mansion, his boots clicking against the marble floor. The echo reminded him of something missing, something hollow. His home was beautiful, yes, filled with sunlight, art, and priceless furniture. But it felt more like a museum than a place where laughter lived. He placed his keys in the silver bowl near the door, a habit he kept from his younger days. He looked around the room. The paintings were straight. The air smelled of vanilla and fresh linen. Everything was perfect, and yet nothing felt right. It had been a long shoot overseas. 6 months in Greece, for in Morocco, he was finally home. But home had changed. He slowly made his way to the living room, expecting to hear tiny footsteps or cheerful voices. Instead, silence wrapped around him like fog. His twin daughters, Lily and June, were nowhere in sight. Neither was Maria, their longtime nanny who had practically raised them after their mother passed away. His heart panged at the thought of his wife. She had been gone for 3 years now. Cancer, swift and cruel. He had buried his grief in film, sets, charity work, and late-night motorcycle rides through the city. But today, the silence forced him to feel it all again. As he sat on the edge of the velvet sofa, the door creaked open from the side hallway. A soft voice followed. "You're finally home." He turned. It wasn't Maria. A woman stood in the doorway, holding a basket of folded laundry. She wore a faded blue apron, her curly hair tied up in a loose bun. Her eyes, wide and kind, held something deeper than warmth. They held memory. Keanu stood up. "You're not Maria." She gave a small smile. "No, I'm Amira." He blinked. "Where's Maria?" Amira hesitated. Her fingers clutched the basket tighter. "She left." Keanu frowned. "Left?" Amira took a step forward. "She had a family emergency a few months ago. She asked me to fill in. Said it would only be temporary." Keanu's jaw tensed. "And you never thought to call me?" Amira looked straight at him. "I did." Those 3 words cut deeper than he expected. She placed the basket down on the nearby table and walked slowly to the window. Her voice quiet but firm. "I called, emailed, left voicemails. Your assistant said you were too busy, that you were filming in the desert. Unreachable." He remembered that. He remembered choosing not to check messages during that time. He thought he was doing the right thing, focusing on work, giving his daughters peace. Now he wasn't so sure. "Where are they now?" he asked. Amira turned and gave a soft smile. "In their room. Lily is writing a poem. June is painting." He took a step toward the hallway, but Amira held up a hand. "Before you go in, there's something you should know." He stopped. Amira looked nervous now, not scared, not ashamed. "Just a human. They cry at night," she said gently. "Every night. They whisper to their pillows. They talk about you. They talk about her. They miss you both." Keanu's throat tightened. "I've done my best," Amira continued. "But I'm not their mother, and I'm not you." He ran a hand through his hair, suddenly feeling older than he had in months. "Why didn't Maria tell me?" Amira's voice dropped. "Because she knew you wouldn't come. Not then. Not when you were still running." Keanu didn't speak. Amira stepped forward. "I don't know why you're back now. Maybe it's guilt. Maybe it's time. But if you're here, really here, then you need to stop being a ghost." The words hit hard. Not out of anger, but out of truth. He nodded slowly. Amira turned to leave the room, but just as she reached the door, she paused. "They've been waiting, you know," she said without turning around. "For their father. Not the actor, not the man on TV, just their dad." Then she disappeared down the hall, leaving Keanu alone with the silence. He stood there for a long time. Finally, he walked toward the stairs. Halfway up, he stopped and sat on the steps. He wasn't ready. Not yet. But he would be that night as the moonlight poured into the bedroom windows. Keanu stood in the hallway outside his daughter's room. He heard whispers, soft and fragile, like the wings of butterflies. "Do you think he still remembers Mom's voice?" Lily asked. "I don't know," June replied. "But I remember his hug, the one at the airport. Before he left." Silence. "Again, maybe he'll come back one day," Lily whispered. Keanu felt something crack deep inside his chest. He didn't realize he had been holding his breath until it escaped him in a shaky sigh. Amira appeared behind him with a blanket. She draped it over his shoulders without saying a word. Then she whispered something that would change everything. "They still believe in you." Keanu looked up at her. "But do you?" she asked. He didn't know yet, but in that moment, sitting in the hallway with a blanket around his shoulders and the sound of his daughter's dreams echoing through the door, he knew one thing: he wasn't going to run anymore. The broken cherith morning light filtered through the tall windows of the mansion, casting long shadows on the wooden floor. Birds chirped softly outside, but inside, the house felt tense, like it was holding its breath. Keanu Reeves stood in the kitchen, unsure of what to do with his hands. He wore a simple gray t-shirt and jeans. He looked nothing like the man on movie posters. He looked like a father trying to fit back into a life that had moved on without him. He poured himself a cup of coffee. The mug said "Super Dad" in pink letters. He smiled weakly. It had been a gift from Lily when she was 6. Amira walked in, tying her apron. She gave him a polite nod. "Morning." He nodded back. "Morning." They stood in silence for a moment. "They wake up round 8. She said. "June likes cereal. Lily prefers toast with honey." "Thank you," he replied. Amira started preparing breakfast. She moved with calm precision. Every movement showed care, control, experience. Keanu sipped his coffee. "How long have you been with them?" "About 4 months," she said without turning. "Do they like you?" Amira paused for just a second, then resumed chopping strawberries. "They trust me," she said. "That's more important than liking." Keanu stared into his cup. "And you?" he asked softly. "Do you like them?" Amira finally turned to look at him. "I love them." Those 3 words shook him. Before he could respond, footsteps echoed. From the hallway, Lily appeared first, rubbing her eyes, wearing a blue nightgown with unicorns. Her hair was messy, and she clutched a stuffed rabbit. She stopped when she saw him. Her lips parted slightly. Then June came behind her, younger, with curls bouncing and a sleepy yawn stretching across her face. Both girls stood frozen. Keanu took a step forward. "Hey," he said gently. No one spoke. Then June whispered, "Are you really here?" He nodded. "Yeah, I'm really here." Lily stepped closer. "How long?" "As long as you want me," he said without thinking. Amira turned away, pretending to focus on the stove. But Keanu saw her wipe her eye. "Breakfast is ready," she said quickly. The girls sat down at the table, still watching him. Still unsure. Keanu joined them. He reached for the butter, spreading it carefully on a slice of toast for Lily. It felt like trying to remember how to breathe. "So," he said, trying to keep his voice light, "what have you been up to?" June picked up a strawberry and looked at him. "I painted a dragon yesterday." Keanu smiled. "Really?" "I used to love dragons when I was your age." She tilted her head. "How old are you now?" He laughed. "Too old to chase dragons, but not too old to believe in them." Lily finally spoke. "Do you still believe in Mom?" The question silenced the room. Keanu looked into her eyes, so much like her mother's, soft, brown, deep, every day. He said. The girls nodded. They didn't smile. Not yet. But something softened between them. Later that afternoon, he followed Amira into the playroom. Toys were scattered neatly. Art supplies filled a shelf. A broken rocking chair sat in the corner. "That was hers," Amira said, noticing him staring. "Your wife's. She used to read to them in it." Keanu walked over and sat down slowly. The chair creaked under his weight. The wood groaned. "Why? Is it broken?" he asked. Amira didn't answer right away. "June threw it down when she found out you weren't coming home for Christmas," she said finally. Keanu flinched. She was angry. "Not at you, at life, at God, at everything." She didn't want the tree, didn't want the gifts, just wanted you. He looked at the broken arm of the chair. It looked like a scar. "I failed them," he whispered. Amira sat on the floor nearby. She didn't speak like a nanny now. She spoke like someone who understood pain. "No, you ran. There's a difference." He met her eyes. "Running is fear. Failing is giving up," she said. "You didn't fail, but now you need to stop running." He nodded slowly. That night, Keanu read a book to the girls. He sat in a new chair next to the broken one. June curled up on his lap. Lily leaned against his arm. "Can you do the voices?" June asked. Keanu smiled. "Only if you promise not to laugh." They didn't laugh. They listened. And when he finished the story, Lily whispered, "Can you stay tomorrow too?" "I'll stay every tomorrow," he said. As they drifted off to sleep, Amira stood in the doorway, watching. Keanu walked over to her. "Thank you," he said quietly. Amira looked up at him. "They're not the only ones who needed healing." He nodded. Double quotes. "Good night, Keanu." "Good night, Amira." As he walked down the hall, he passed a photo of his wife on the wall. She was smiling, holding both babies in her arms. "I'm trying," he whispered to the photo. "I promise I'm trying." And for the first time in years, he meant it. The visitor at the Gatith days passed gently. Keanu began to settle into a new rhythm, one he hadn't known in years. No film sets, no red carpets, just morning pancakes, school drop-offs, and evening laughter echoing through the once silent halls. Amira guided him through it all, not like a helper, but like a lighthouse in fog. Sometimes, when the girls were asleep, they would sit on the porch in silence, sharing warm tea and quiet thoughts. It wasn't romance, it was something deeper. A soft kind of respect built between two people who had both seen the hard edges of life. One Thursday morning, just as Keanu was tying June's shoelaces, the doorbell rang. Amira called from the kitchen. "I'll get it." But the girls ran faster. "Maybe it's Maria," Lily shouted, even though they hadn't heard from the old nanny in weeks. Keanu followed them to the front hall. Amira stood at the door, frozen. A tall man in a suit stood outside the gate. Next to him was a woman in her 50s, with sharp eyes and perfect posture. Her hair was pinned in a tight bun, her pearl earrings catching the morning sun. Amira opened the door halfway. "May I help you?" she asked calmly. The woman smiled thinly. "You must be the nanny." Amira didn't respond. Keanu stepped forward. "I'm Keanu. And you are?" The woman's eyes scanned him like a critic sizing up a flawed painting. "I'm Claire Wilmington. I'm June and Lily's maternal grandmother." Keanu's heart stopped for a second. "You're Elena's mother," she nodded. "I'm here to speak with you, privately." Keanu hesitated. They're about to leave for school. Claire's smile faded. "Then we should make it quick." Amira stepped aside, clearly uncomfortable. The girls looked confused. "Who is she?" June whispered. "Your grandmother," Keanu said softly. "Mommy's mom?" Lily asked, eyes wide. Keanu nodded. "Come, girls," Amira said gently. "Let's get your bags." They left the hallway, though both girls kept glancing back. Keanu led Claire into the study. The door clicked shut behind them. "It's been 3 years," he said, sitting down. "Yes," Claire replied. 3 long years, and no invitation, no contact. Not even a picture. Keanu stayed silent. "My daughter died, Keanu," she said, her voice hardening. And in her place, I got silence. Keanu took a deep breath. "You never liked me, even when Elena was alive." "No," Claire agreed coldly, "because you were never enough for her." Those words cut like knives. But Keanu didn't flinch. "I may not have been perfect, but I loved her. And I'm doing everything I can to raise our daughters the way she would have wanted." Claire leaned forward. "And yet, I hear stories, from the press, from insiders, that you left them for months, left them with a stranger while you chased fame." "Amira is not a stranger," Keanu said firmly. "She's the reason my daughters still smile." Claire's eyes narrowed. "I want custody." Keanu stared at her. "What?" "Partial, joint, something," she said, voice sharp. "They're my blood, and I refuse to let them grow up thinking they have no family but you and some hired help." Keanu stood up. "You're not taking them. I'll go to court if I have to," she warned. "Then you'll have to," he said. "But you should know they don't even know your name." That hit her. Her face tightened. Lips pressed together. She stood. "I'll be back." She walked to the door but paused. "You may play the grieving hero to the world," she said, "but I know better." And then she was gone. Keanu stood there for a long time. Amira entered quietly. "Is she gone?" He nodded. "For now." Amira looked down. "I heard some of it. She wants custody. Keanu said, sinking into the chair. Amira sat across from him. Can she win? I don't know, he admitted. She has money, power, a name. Amira touched his arm gently. But you have love and truth. Don't underestimate that. Later that evening, he told the girls about Claire. Lily sat on the edge of the bed. Why doesn't she like you? Keanu smiled sadly. Sometimes. People are afraid of what they don't understand. Do we have to go with her? June asked, her voice trembling. No, he said, holding her hand. You're safe, I promise. They hugged him tightly, like he was their anchor. Amira watched from the doorway, a soft smile on her face. But deep down, she was worried too, because she had seen people like Claire before, and she knew they didn't give up easily. Asterisk the sealed. Envelope. 3 days passed. Keanu barely slept. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw Claire's face, her cold stare, her promise to return. Amira noticed the change in him. He paced more. His hands trembled slightly when he held his coffee, and though he still read stories at night and walked Lily and June to school every morning, his mind was elsewhere. On the 4th day, a white envelope arrived. It was hand-delivered by a suited man who didn't give his name. He simply nodded and walked away, disappearing into a black car that vanished down the hill. Keanu stood at the gate, holding the envelope as if it might burn him. Amira watched from the window. She met him at the door when he finally walked in. What is it? She asked. Keanu didn't answer. He walked to the study and shut the door. Amira waited. A few minutes later, he came out, his face pale. She filed the petition, he said quietly. Claire, she's going to court. Amira's breath caught. For custody, he nodded. A full hearing. Next week. The girls came running into the hallway, laughing about something. June had glitter on her hands. Lily had paint on her nose. They stopped when they saw the look on their father's face. Is everything okay? Lily asked. Keanu forced a smile. Just some grown-up stuff. Amira stepped forward. How about we bake cookies today? The girls cheered and ran off. Amira looked back at Keanu. We need to prepare. How do you prepare for someone trying to take your kids away? He asked, his voice cracking. Amira looked straight at him. By standing, not running. He nodded slowly. That night, after the girls were asleep, Keanu pulled out an old box from the back of the closet. Inside were letters, drawings, a hospital wristband, and one Polaroid photo. Elena, holding both babies in her arms, smiling despite her exhaustion. Amira found him there, sitting on the floor. He didn't look up. I miss her, he whispered. Amira sat beside him. So do I. He handed her the photo. She always said you were strong. Amira looked at the photo. She was stronger. They sat in silence. Then Keanu said something he hadn't told anyone in years. She made me promise, he said. Right before she passed, she made me promise that I wouldn't shut them out, that I wouldn't lose myself in grief. But I did. Amira touched his shoulder. You're back now. That's what matters. Keanu turned to her. Do you think I can win? Amira thought for a long time before answering. I think you're not the same man who left them behind, and that's your strength. Claire might have money, power, and lawyers, but you have something she'll never understand, love that grew through mistakes. Keanu looked down. Then let's fight. The next day, they met with a lawyer named Julian Lewis. He had kind eyes and a reputation for defending families. He listened to Keanu's story, asked gentle questions, then nodded. She's going to come hard, Julian warned. She'll dig into your past, your absence, your grief. She'll make you look like a neglectful father. What can I do? Keanu asked. We show the truth. Julian replied. We show who you are now, and we let the girls speak. Keanu shook his head quickly. No, I don't want them dragged into this. Julian leaned forward. They have voices, Keanu, and sometimes the court needs to hear them. Keanu fell silent. Amira spoke gently. They're stronger than you think. That evening, Keanu sat with Lily in the garden. She was stringing beads into a bracelet. Can I ask you something? He said softly. Okay, she replied, eyes focused. If someone asked you where you wanted to live, what would you say? Lily looked up. With you? even if it meant standing in front of strangers and telling them that. She nodded. I would. Keanu swallowed hard. Why? Lily placed the last bead and smiled. Because you came back. The day before the hearing, Claire returned. She didn't come alone. A young woman stepped out of the car behind her, thin, with dark hair and nervous eyes. Amira opened the door, her body tense. We're not accepting guests. She said coldly. You'll want to hear this, Claire said with a smile. Keanu appeared behind Amira. He looked past Claire to the girl. Who is she? He asked. Claire stepped aside. This is Madison, Maria's niece. Keanu frowned. Maria's niece. Madison stepped forward, voice shaking. I was the one answering your assistant's calls. Keanu stared at her. Madison continued. I never passed your messages. I was told not to. Amira stepped forward. Told by who? Madison glanced at Claire. Amira single quotes. Eyes narrowed. You paid her off. Claire didn't deny it. I simply ensured that Maria wouldn't interfere. Claire said coolly. She was far too sentimental. Keanu felt something rise inside him, fury, disbelief, and guilt all at once. You manipulated everyone, he said. Claire shrugged. I did what I had to do. Keanu stepped closer. And now, I'll do what I have to do. Claire smirked. See you in court. She turned and walked away, Madison following with tears in her eyes. Amira looked at Keanu. That changes everything. Yeah, he said. Now it's not just about custody, Amira asked. What is it then? He answered. It's about truth. The Court of Truth courthouse was cold, not because of the temperature, but because of the way it held its breath. People whispered in the halls. Lawyers clutched folders. Judges moved past in long robes like shadows. It was the kind of place where truth either bloomed or died. Keanu Reeves sat in the waiting room outside courtroom 12. His hands clasped together tightly. He wore a simple suit, not tailored, not designer, just honest. Amira sat beside him, her presence steady like a lighthouse. She wore a soft cream dress and held June's worn drawing in her hand, the one with the rainbow over their home. The door opened. Julian Lewis, their lawyer, stepped in. They're ready, he said. Keanu stood. Amira placed the drawing in his hands. They believe in you. Now go remind the world who you are. He nodded. Inside the courtroom, Claire sat tall and proud, her pearl earrings gleaming like weapons. Her lawyer, a man named Harrison Pierce, had a voice like steel and a face carved from stone. The judge was a woman named Justice Monroe, calm, watchful. Her eyes didn't miss anything. The hearing began. Claire's lawyer went first. His words were sharp, cold, precise. Mr. Reeves left his daughters in the care of a stranger for nearly a year. He missed birthdays, holidays, and school events. He was unreachable, unresponsive, unavailable. That is not a father, that is a visitor. Keanu stared straight ahead. Miss Claire Wilmington, Harrison continued, offers stability, tradition, family values. She owns a home in Santa Barbara. She has staff. She has resources. And more importantly, she was Elena's mother, the mother, Your Honor, of the children now at risk. Risk, Julian stood. Are you saying the girls are in danger, emotional danger? Harrison replied. Growing up with abandonment, with a man who disappears when grief gets too loud. Keanu's jaw tightened. Then Julian called his first witness. Amira. She stepped into the witness box with calm eyes and a soft voice. I'm the current nanny, she said. I've been with Lily and June for months. What were they like when you met them? Julian asked. Amira's voice dipped. Quiet, afraid, sometimes angry. They missed their father deeply. Did you ever speak with him? I tried. Many times. And what happened? Amira looked across the room. His assistant told me he wasn't available. Later, I found out those messages were blocked. The judge raised an eyebrow. Blocked by whom? Amira looked directly at Claire. Claire shifted in her seat. Julian nodded. Let's talk about today. How are the girls now? Amira smiled gently. They laugh again. They draw. They sleep through the night. They wait for their father to tuck them in. Has he changed? Amira didn't hesitate. He's present. He cooks. He listens. He's not perfect, but he's real, and they need real. Julian turned to the judge. "Thank you." Harrison stood. "Miss Amira, you're just the nanny. You aren't family." Amira replied without flinching, "Neither is Claire." Gasps filled the courtroom. Harrison tried again. "Are you emotionally involved with Mr. Reeves?" Amira blinked. "I love the girls. And I care about their father. That's called being human." Harrison sat down quickly. Then came the moment everyone was waiting for. Keanu Reeves walked to the witness stand. The room still. Julian kept his questions simple. "Why are you here, Keanu?" Keanu's voice was quiet, but steady. "Because I left, and I was wrong to do that. I thought I was protecting them by staying away, but I was protecting myself." He looked at Claire. "And yes, I was unreachable, not because I didn't care, but because I couldn't face the world without Elena. I broke." The judge listened closely. "I'm not asking the court to erase my mistakes. I'm asking for the chance to be the father my girls still believe I can be." Julian nodded. "Do you love them?" Keanu's eyes filled. "More than anything. Do you believe they're safe with you?" "I know they are." Then Harrison stood. "Mr. Reeves, you've played heroes in movies, but this is real life. Are you truly capable of raising two young girls alone?" Keanu met his stare. "I'm not alone. I have help. I have Amira. I have friends, and most of all, I have them. What if you fall again?" Keanu smiled sadly. "Then I'll get up, and I'll teach them how to get up too." The judge raised a hand. "Thank you, Mr. Reeves." Then she did something unexpected. "I'd like to hear from the girls." Gasps again. Harrison stood. "Your Honor, they're minors, so am I." The judge replied calmly, "In heart. And I want to know what they feel." Lily and June entered holding hands. They sat on a bench facing the judge. "Do you know why you're here?" she asked gently. Lily nodded. "They're trying to take us away from Dad." "How do you feel about that?" June spoke up. "We don't want to leave." "Why not?" Lily looked at her father. "Because he came back." The judge smiled. "Is he a good dad?" Both girls nodded. Double quotes. "What makes someone a good dad?" Lily replied, "Someone who listens, who hugs you even when you're mad, who reads books with silly voices, someone who says sorry." June added, "Someone who stays." The courtroom was silent. Even Claire lowered her eyes. The judge nodded slowly. "Thank you, girls. You may go." Outside the courtroom, as they waited for the decision, Claire approached Keanu. "I didn't know they loved you like that," she said. "You never asked." He replied. She hesitated. "I was afraid. When Elena died, I felt like I lost everything. I wanted to hold on to what was left." Keanu softened. "Then hold them with me, not against me." Tears welled in her eyes. "I don't deserve it. None of us do," he said. "But love isn't about deserving. It's about trying." The judge returned. Everyone stood. Her voice was firm, but kind. "In the matter of custody, the court finds in favor of Mr. Reeves. Full parental custody remains with him." A collective breath filled the room. But the judge continued. "However, Claire Wilmington is granted supervised visitation twice a month under the condition that she builds a healthy bond with the children." Claire nodded quietly. Court is adjourned. Outside, the girls ran into their father's arms. Amira stood nearby, smiling through tears. Keanu held his daughters tightly. "You don't have to worry anymore," he whispered. "We're home." But as they drove away from the courthouse, a message blinked on Keanu's phone. It was from Maria. Just 5 words. "She lied." Claire lied again. Keanu stared at the screen. Amira leaned forward from the back seat. "What is it?" He looked up, voice cold and clear. "This isn't over." The letter in the attic house was filled with light again. After the court ruling, laughter returned to the rooms that once echoed with silence. Lily and June ran through the halls, chasing their dog Milo. Keanu smiled more. Amira stayed longer. And even Claire, slowly and quietly, began showing signs of change. She had attended to supervised visits, already soft-spoken, respectful, even bringing old photo albums of Elena's childhood. But despite the peace on the surface, Keanu couldn't stop thinking about Maria's message. She lied. Claire lied again. He had tried calling Maria. No answer. Tried emailing. Nothing. On the 5th day, An envelope arrived by courier. No name, just a return address written in shaky cursive. He opened it slowly. Inside was a letter. Keanu, I'm sorry it took so long. I was scared. I was threatened. But the truth can't stay buried forever. Claire didn't just block your calls. She hid something worse. She told Elena something before she died. Something cruel. Something that made Elena push you away during her last days. I didn't believe it then. But now I know for sure. There's a letter. Elena's letter. Your wife wrote it to you before she passed. She left it in the attic of your old guest house. Claire took the key. Said it wasn't important. But I kept a copy. It's taped to the back of this letter. Go find it. The truth is waiting. With love, Mariakanu's hands shook. He ran to the garage and grabbed the old key taped to the back of Maria's letter. Amira. He called. Stay with the girls. Amira rushed over. What's wrong? I need to go to the guest house, he said. Now, the guest house stood quiet at the edge of the estate. It had been locked for years, since Elena's last hospital stay. Keanu hadn't stepped inside since she passed. He opened the door slowly. Dust floated in the sunlight. Furniture was covered in sheets. The air smelled like forgotten memories. He climbed the stairs, heart pounding. At the top, a small wooden attic door waited behind a bookcase. He moved it aside and unlocked the latch. Inside, cobwebs clung to old trunks and boxes. Then he saw it. A blue journal. Lying on top of a baby blanket. He picked it up slowly. On the first page, Elena's handwriting greeted him. If you're reading this, my love, I guess you finally stopped running. He sat down on the wooden floor, light streaming through the cracked window. He turned the pages. I know you think I blamed you. I know you think I pushed you away. And maybe I did. But not because of you. Because of pain and fear. I didn't want you to see me disappear. But Claire, she said things, awful things. Said you would move on in weeks. That the girls would be better with her. I tried not to believe her. But her words got into my head. So if I ever made you feel like I didn't love you, forgive me. Because I loved you more than anything. And I knew, even when I couldn't say it, that you would come back. For them, for us. This letter is not goodbye. It's a beginning. Keanu clutched the journal to his chest. Sobbing silently, the woman he loved hadn't pushed him away. She had tried to protect him. And Claire had tried to erase that truth. Keanu returned home at dusk. Amira was reading with the girls in the living room. He held the journal tightly in his hands. Amira stood. Did you find it? He nodded. What will you do? She asked. He looked down at the journal. Show her grace. And show the girls strength. The next morning, Keanu visited Claire. She opened the door, surprised. Keanu? He handed her the journal. Elena's last words. He said, you kept them from me. Claire's face turned pale. I was afraid, she whispered. Afraid. She'd choose you over me. Afraid I'd lose the last piece of her. He nodded. You did lose her. But not because of me. Because you lied. Tears streamed down her cheeks. I'm sorry, she said. I believe you, Keanu said softly. But it doesn't erase what you did. If you want to stay in their lives, you'll have to earn it. The right way. Claire nodded, broken but grateful. Thank you, she whispered. Weeks passed. Life moved gently again. Keanu painted the guest house with the girls. They made it a studio, a place filled with music, art, and memories. Amira stayed. Not just as a nanny. But as something more. One evening, as the sun dipped low, Keanu, Amira, Lily, and June sat in the garden. Milo barked at butterflies. Lily giggled. June was eating strawberries from the bowl. Dad, Lily said suddenly. Are you happy? Keanu looked at them. At the sky. At Amira. He smiled. Yes, I am. And later that night, when he tucked the girls into bed, he placed Elena's journal on their nightstand. So you never forget, he said. Forget what? June asked sleepily. Keanu kissed her forehead. That love, even when lost, never disappears. It just waits to be continued. In every tomorrow they would live together.